Season 1 of the Michigan State Only Challenge, or more aptly so, State of Michigan Challenge, had its highlights, had its lowlights. Unfortunately, there was a whole lot more of low than highs. The team would only go on to win 2 games by the end of the season, bottom of the NFC North. And as we begin today's episode, it is in its entirety the full offseason and the full regular season of Season 2, and hopefully we're going to see a good bit more good, as we didn't see a whole lot of that in Season 1. Season 1 does end, though, with a 21-10 Super Bowl win for the Denver Broncos over the Dallas Cowboys. It is the 4th Super Bowl for the Broncos, and the MVP went to inside linebacker Jordan Brooks. You can see all the yearly awards over on the right-hand side. We did not have any Pro Bowlers, and the closest person we had to winning an award was the rookie inside linebacker. Name escapes me right now, but I want to say he was 4th in voting, so he was kind of close-ish, but not really. As for retirements, we did have one in Brian Hoyer, so we only have one quarterback on roster, and quarterback is a gigantic need for us, and we checked at the end of last episode, Kirk Cousins should be hitting the open market as long as he didn't retire, so that's definitely something we need to check. And after going through the full list, did not see Kirk Cousins, so hopefully he was not re-signed after finishing the postseason, but head coach Pete Carroll did retire. Now, as for player re-signings, I took care of most of all of, at least the big ones, while in season, and there are some guys who we could look to bring back at this point who do have some interest, but honestly, I prefer just kind of letting them all hit the open market, see what all of our options are, and then come back to them. So that's what we're gonna do here. But as we hit the free market, I do not see Kirk Cousins anywhere here on the availability, so that tells me he was probably just re-signed. And indeed he was, for a single year, 20 mil. Now, if we just look to see what offers they would want, they are still saying that there is no trade package that we could come up with that would make us even trade with you. So let's do some further digging, because that's not quite always the case. And in terms of things we could trade with, we do have the first pick in the draft. We have a 2, we have a pair of 3s, we don't have a 4th, and we have a 5, 6, and a 7. The future years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, all the way through. So we definitely have some 1s, some 2s, maybe we can make a trade. If we wanted to keep those picks and use them in this season, there is a round 1 offensive lineman we could go with, and he does seem like he could be pretty decent. He's 22 years old, out of Michigan State. He has some decent bench reps. At 36 is actually pretty good, more than decent, though he's not a power guy at all. Does have a finesse, but pass block is a C, so at best he would probably be a guard, maybe a right tackle. Past him, I think the highest guy next would be Robbie Thomas, and he's around 1 to 2, and he's not all too intriguing as around 1 to 2. Definitely not around 1. If he doesn't have strength, 34, so maybe he could play a little bit of some inside. In a 3-4, though, being 267, it's a little bit light. He has good awareness, not so good block shed or finesse moves. Has some pretty decent power moves, but he's not really a top-end guy at all. Then past him, you have a speed rusher in Harvey Walker. We did finally find that out. And a corner. We do need some corner help. And he's okay, but he's definitely not a press man. He's an off man, and that doesn't quite fit. And then Antonio Young, we found out all the information. He's actually a potential undrafted talent. So this particular draft class doesn't have as many high-end guys as we were hoping. As for the finesse rusher, it is just a B with C block shed, which is the same as what we saw for Robbie Thomas. So I'm really okay trading away a good bit of picks here. Now this is more so just to use as a gauge, but this is again the first pick in the draft, asking for Kirk Cousins, and then their next year's 2nd round pick. Where does that put us? And they're just going to make that trade. So we probably could have got a little bit more in that, but I will take it. We have a starting quarterback, a solid quarterback in Kirk Cousins. It might just be a 1-year situation, but it's going to be better than Cooper Rush. And with that trade done, we jumped into open free agency and I signed a bunch of players who will probably mostly be rotational guys at best. Maybe a couple guys might work into some playing time. Tavierre Thomas was one of the guys we tried to trade for last year. Right now, he's definitely in line to be one of our corners. We brought in Michael Schofield to be a backup lineman. Gerard Wilson we brought back. I want to say Jalen Mayfield might be new. Taco Charlton returns, brought in Brian Moan. Brought back Ben Mason. Kaliki Hudson to be a backup interior linebacker. Justin Lane returned. Amir Speed returned. Naquan Jones also returned. Brought in Justin Zimmer. Andrew Dowell to be a backup middle linebacker. Vincent Gray, I want to say, is a new guy. Kenny Willekes, another backup for us, same as Ramirez. McGrone, I want to say we had last year, and Christopher Hinton returned. So, for the most part, we brought back a lot of guys who were just depth. We added a couple other guys to be more depth, with only the real starter probably being Tavierre Thomas. Now, obviously, since we traded away our first pick for Kirk Cousins, we're going to get in through this draft pretty quickly, though I do want to see who the Dallas Cowboys end up selecting with that selection. And they go left guard DeMarcus Bryant. They do not go after a quarterback to immediately fill their empty spot. From there, though, we're just going to jump straight over to our pick, see who's available, and kind of go from there. So, of the first round options we had, the offensive lineman did go. However, the defensive lineman did not go. We finally found that last little bit of information on him. He's a round 2 to 3 true talent. We need some help for the defensive line for sure, so we could definitely still go after him. Other options is Chris Howard. He's actually around 3 to 4, so we could probably go with him with the next selection. As for the other outside edge rusher guy in Harvey Walker, he's a potential undrafted. So really narrows things down for us, makes it pretty simple. Robbie Thomas is going to be the first draftee for the Michigan State Only Challenge. He's got some bench reps. He has some speed. He has some ability. How good how high really his ceiling is, hard to tell, but he's going to be the first pick and he's a hidden dev at least. 78 speed, 88 strength. He could definitely play on the interior of this defensive line. He's just going to be lightweight for it, but he's wiry. Now jumping forward to the third round. The corner is still there in Chris Howard. Again, he's a man-to-man guy, 5'10", 204. He's got some okay speed, some good broad and three-coned. Everything else is kind of eh. He doesn't have any press ability, nor play recognition. He has some block shedding, some man, a little bit of some tackling in zone. He's at best going to be a slot corner, I feel like, for us. And he's a normal dev with 92 speed, 94 acceleration, 86 agility, 85 change of direction, and 84 jumping with 51 strength. Now sitting here in the third round, later on in the third round, all the guys who were draftable are actually potential undrafted talent. So from here on out, we could probably trade away the rest of these picks. And the best offer I've seen here is going to be from the Tennessee Titans, where we can trade our third from this year, pick up a 3 and a 4 next year. So that's what we're going to do with this spot. Now with our 5th round selection, we're going to trade that to the San Francisco 49ers for next year's 4th. And in the 6th round, we found a nice little haul here from the Patriots, picking up a 2025 6th and 7th, the same in 2026. So 4 selections. That seems like a pretty good option. And with our final selection in the 7th round, we're going to send that to the Eagles for their 6th round pick next season. Now, while the draft for us was light, just 2 spots, both of these guys could potentially see some playing time. Robbie Thomas ends up being a 72 and Chris Howard a 71. Robbie probably has a little bit more of a chance to end up getting playtime, specifically with that hidden dev as well. And he ends up having 75 with +3 from the coaching, block shedding, and 73 power moves. So, and 90 strength. So he's definitely going to be getting some playing time out there right out the go. As for Chris Howard, he'll probably need to develop a little bit behind some guys. He does have some solid man coverage to start, and the zone isn't lacking too far behind. Press, not great, so he's definitely be more of a slot style guy. He just doesn't have super high tackling, but 57 at corner isn't awful. Has a little bit of some catching ability at 63. However, 79 injury is concerning. Now, one last thing we need to do before we actually start the season, and that is take a look at what we have available to us in the next draft. And fortunately, unfortunately, it's really not a good draft for us. There are 10 total prospects, with 4 being draftable. There is a day 3 in Juwan Jones out of Grand Valley State. There is a top 5 defensive lineman, Glenn Ivory out of Michigan, 6'6", 280. Could he potentially be extremely good? Yes. I haven't seen any super highly rated guys straight out of the draft. Maybe an 83. Maybe he would be hidden dev and could be a superstar. Maybe even an X Factor. Who knows? There is a day 3 in Kareem Ali, and then a day 3 free safety in John Lloyd. So essentially the only thing in this draft class is Glenn Ivory. And that makes me think we could use the trades that we have here to bring in a couple guys at the start of season 2 to really try to elevate this team. And right now, we just really don't have that true #1 running back. We have Haskins and Chris Evans that we split time, but they probably should be backups. And there is one guy in particular I would love to bring in, and that's gonna be Kenneth Walker III. Now, he is a superstar player here. He's 92 overall at 23 years old. He's got the speed, he's got the trucking, he has hands as well. What do we have to offer to bring him in from the Jags? Obviously, they're gonna tell us there's no trade. I get it, but there's probably a trade we could do. In terms of picks, we do have what is projected to be the first overall selection. We have 2 seconds, 2 thirds, 3 fourths. We got a bunch of picks we could offer here. So I just wanna see what pops up if we offer a 2, 3, and a 4. Don't think that would get the job done, but how close are we? Pretty well off. So if we offer the 1, 2, and the 3, does that get us any closer? Yeah, they'll just go ahead and take it. We're giving up a lot, but we still have a second and 2 thirds remaining, so that's fine by me. And there are definitely some other guys I would like to trade for. Fortunately, Max Crosby, 99 overall. Not gonna be able to get that one to work. But Zach Seiler, who's an 81 overall, would be more of an interior defensive lineman for us. What about a 3, 4, and a 6 for him? Close. So we'll end up switching the 6 for a 5, and that will get the deal done. So we bring in a guy for the defensive line. I would have loved to bring in a guy like Crosby, or even on the other side, going after Aiden Hutchinson. Unfortunately, he's injured in week 1, so I can't make a trade here, though there's no saying I'm not going to check further down this season once he's healthy. And opening up season 2, this is the starting lineup. Outside of Kirk Cousins and Kenneth Walker III, everything the exact same, though that is not to understate how big of an impact I believe Cousins and Walker are going to have to this offense. Walker behind this offensive line should be pretty good, and then Kirk with these receivers should also open up the passing game a good bit. And plus, Kirk reunites with Conklin, so that's fun. As for the defense, it's going to be said we're seeing a little bit more of a change. Obviously, Seiler is in. Hurst is also continuing on as the starter. And then the rookie in Robbie Thomas is getting the start at right end. At corner, only one of the top 3 guys is remaining from last year, Sean Murphy-Bunting. Obviously, we brought in Thomas. And then we're going to be starting the other Thomas, Ambry Thomas, at slot this year. As for the safeties, they stay the same. Linebackers, they stay the same, though we do have some new backups. And we did end up signing undrafted, what was, I want to say, around 3 to 4 projection in Harvey Walker. So that was fun. He was still available. He has some finesse moves, but he's going to be a backup for sure. As for the specialist, we talked a little bit about some of the changes. Obviously, Ambry Thomas starting at slot. Uche is still going to get the start at left rush end. Seiler and Hurst are going to be the rush DTs, and Thomas going to be the rush right end. Linebackers stay the same from last year, with Hudson being the primary backup. Walker now the primary running back throughout by far. Eskridge will start at slot this year, but if we don't see him have a better or more big of an impact, we will be switching to Ronnie Bell. So that spot can definitely change. But now with all of the offseason, preseason, all of the trades done, it's time to get in and officially start season 2. We're going to watch a little bit of action here in the Packers game. Season 2 review begins on defense. Against our rival in the Packers, their quarterback is Russell Wilson. A little bit of some play action across the middle. Didn't look like that one was going to be catchable, but this might be DPI, and that's exactly what it is. So they say Spillane limited the ability of the receiver to get to that ball. Don't know if I agree, but it's what they call. They're up to the 32 now with a throw more accurate this time as they do find their guy picking up the first down. Kind of weird seeing Travis Kelce in a yellow and green rather than yellow and red. Either way, it's a first down here for the rival. As they hand it off down the middle, it's open lanes. Picking up the first down, shaking off one, and they're close to the opposite 40 with Chuba Hubbard. If you're around for the Panthers' traditional franchise, you know how big of a threat he could be. As long as he gets to the outside, he's a big play threat as that one's knocked away. Spillane does well on coverage that time. Didn't inhibit the receiver and clearly knocked it away. There's a second and 10 for Russell. Going with a shotgun toss to the outside. Chuba Hubbard with some space. Shakes the safety and steps out of bounds prior to picking up the first. Could have been a massive play for him. Still a good play, but could have been a whole lot more. I'll take it. 3rd and 1. Wilson up top finds Kelce, but not enough for the first down. Metellus, the do-it-all. I mean, he literally does it all. He's played safety, corner, outside rusher, inside line. I mean, literally everything but defensive line. He gets the stop. 4th and inches. And that field goal is drilled down the middle. Green Bay tacks on 3 to take the first lead of the day. But now the Kirko era has begun here in the Michigan State-only challenge. Can he, as well as Walker, unlock this offense that really didn't manage much of all last season? Well, the first throw was a throwaway, even though I definitely saw Eskridge open. So Kirk over there saying, yeah, that's on me. Yeah, it was. Probably go with the open receiver. 2nd and 10. We got 3 up top. Kirk from the pocket, checks it down to the bottom, finding Sky Moore, who holds on to this one. 3rd and inches. He was a bit of a letdown, I'll say, in Season 1. Hopefully now he's got another season under his belt. He'll hold on to some more passes. As we go short, Conklin picks up the first down. I know Kirko likes his checkdowns, or if it was last year, just tossing it up for JJ. But we don't have a JJ on this team. Instead, we got a 2 receiver stack either side. With a clean pocket, going up top, going back to Sky Moore. Another nice sideline grab. Haven't gone Walker's way yet. I would love for his first run to just be a touchdown, taking the whole distance. As we do go his way here, it is not a touchdown, but it is a first down gain of 5. Now Haskins, as well as Chris Evans, they had their games where they did some good things here and there, but they weren't going to lift this team by any means. And hopefully Walker will do that as we get lifted and slammed down for a gain of 2. Already going to Conklin's way twice. They had a nice connection while Conklin was in Minnesota. Pass rush working its way back there, though. They block themselves, and we can find Dwayne Eskridge for a first down to the 35. Now, so far, this feeling very much like a Kirk Cousin offense. Just very slow moving. Not a whole lot of big pop plays as we go Kenneth Walker, who didn't quite know which hole he wanted to hit. Definitely cost us some time and yardage. Running backs so rarely get those wide open gaps that he clearly was confused. Didn't know which one to go with. 2nd and 6 as we go up top. Nice curl, but no hands for Nico Collins. Had that defender shook by about 7 yards, but no. Could not hold on to it. Worked too much on the route running and not catching the ball. 3rd and 6, pass rush. Hits home. Kirko gets smacked down. 4th and 15 at the 40. So nothing all too splashy to open up our time here Season 2, but we have a 3rd down here, which we force the throwaway. So a good answer back from the defense. Now, can we get a solid drive here? We start with some nice plays. Ronnie Bell picks up a gain of 9, first down, going back to Eskridge, going a lot to the slot and tight ends early on in this one. Kenneth Walker picking up another first down. Incomplete pass thrown away as we go back to Eskridge. So already he's getting more involved. Walker picking up a first down here for us. Working our way up to midfield as a throwaway. Then back to Eskridge. So we challenged him. Get involved. He's definitely done that. As Travis Jones gives us a first down. We're in plus territory now. We get inside the 25. We'll jump in and yeah, that'll do it. We're looking for our first touchdown this season and our first point scored this season. We got a bunch up top, tight end Conklin down to the bottom. Kirk from a clean pocket going towards the end zone, and Nico Collins opened up season 1 with the touchdown, opens up season 2 with a touchdown. The route just as good as before, but this time he held on to the ball. I mean, again, he just keeps shaking those defenders. Now that kind of play is what we need to see a lot more of. Not giving Cole Turner a massive first down on first down. I say massive, it was a good first down. Need to see some big plays from this defense, though. Starting to get some sacks would be fantastic. 2nd and 10 after the throwaway. They get 4. 3rd and 6. They get 9 to Travis Kelce. As they're down to the 35. Say if they get a first down, we'll jump in. Watch the rest of the defense. Knocked away by Thomas. 3rd and 10. They get 12. Stephon Diggs. Really weird seeing him, quote unquote, seeing him. Now we can see him as he's up top. But seeing him in a Packers jersey, that's just wrong. As I go with Chuba Hubbard, who did not have anywhere to go. Spillane and the rookie both met him in the backfield. Robbie Thomas getting involved. Only a 3-man front. Not something I want to see us run that often. I prefer at least 4. 2nd and 11. Throw down to the bottom. Hubbard, who's going to pick up the lost yardage and a little bit more. Make it 3rd and 6. And it'll be a tight set to pick up that 6. First down for him is at about the 13.5-yard line. As Russell, having to roll towards the top on the run, finds a wide open target. We come crashing down, but they got a 1st and goal at the 7. That had to have been some miscommunication somewhere. Luckily, Daxton Hill's got some speed to get the stop. 1st and goal, they come out with a heavy set, motioning over their tight end down towards the bottom. It's an I form with a play action. Russell trying to find somewhere to go. He's got time to find Stephon Diggs. They retake their lead pretty quickly. Well, offense, can you respond quickly? One thing to note there, we also just saw that Madden does keep track of targets. I would love to see that in the actual stat column so we could see drops, or even just give us a drop as Sky Moore shaking 2 defenders there. He's having a pretty good start. Yeah, I would love to have the drops, targets. I would love as many stats as possible in the actual stats category so we can get a better idea of how these teams are doing. I will say so far, at least the receivers seem a little bit more confident in their quarterback play. We've had a couple missteps here and there, but Kirko hopefully unlocking this team with a quick throw down the bottom. Dwayne Eskridge breaks by 1, picking up the first down. Got a little bit lucky to shake the defender there, got a feel. As we're letting this clock roll, we do have all 3 timeouts. Kirko across the middle and knocked away. Ward with a big timely hit there, knocks that one away from Sky Moore. Stops the clock though, as we set up the halfback screen, getting out to Walker with some blocks in front. It's gonna be at least the first down. I said at least. Ended up being a little bit closer than predicted, but he still converts. As we are inside the 40 now, a little over a minute left. Kirko to the outside, knocked away. Barrett with really good coverage there. Intended that one for Conklin. As it's still over a minute. Kirko, no blitz this time. Swinging it up top. Walker with a little bit some space. Not by Kendricks. Why are so many Vikings playing on the Packers? That's just wrong. At least go join the Lions. As it's 3rd and 2. Back to the 2-receiver stack. It's down the middle. Walker picking up the first down inside the red zone as we call our first timeout. Back to the line quickly though. With 1 up top, the rest down to the bottom. Gonna be Kirko. Up top, curl. Works and held on to that time. Sky Moore seemingly worked on his hands a lot. He had quite a bit of drops last season. Or maybe it's just, again, Kirko helping them out. With a throw up top, it's Conklin and knocked away by Kendricks. That'll leave us 3rd and millimeters with 30 seconds left here. Need at least the first down. They send a blitz. We pick it up well. Kirko's got to find somewhere to go, and he throws it away. But after a 2-win season, we're being aggressive here before half. Need to pick up a first down. At least Kenneth Walker will do just that. Last timeout called. We're down at the 9. Got a bunch to the right, 1 to the left. We sit in pistol. I do like Conklin's route here. We're going to see what opens up, though. As we have to roll that way, we do find Sky Moore, and he is in. Kirko, 2 first-half touchdowns, puts us in front as we head into half. Just gotta love the nonchalant pass on that one. Almost a no-looker. As we do take a 14-10 lead into half, ending the first with a 3-yard loss. Great to see, you know, some defensive plays were happening here and there. Still waiting to see our first sack as we do start with the ball in the second half. So a great opportunity here to widen our lead, but we cannot pick up a first down. We go 3 and out to open the second half, punting away, and not a great one. I want to say we had a 73-yarder last year on a punt. That one came nowhere close as the Packers take over, picking up a first down to Quentin Johnston. As they move closer to midfield, then we get another tackle for a loss. We're definitely seeing a fair few of those as we then give it up to Stephon Diggs right there after. 6 more yards going Chuba Hubbard as they're inside the 40, and then Rashad Bateman takes the top off the defense, 38 yards. Packers back in front. It's a good battle of the North here in the NFC. Going back and forth. I mean, we've switched leads, what, 4 times? I feel like, at least close to that. As we're back out on offense, another third down, we pick it up Nico Collins. Need a settled drive here, right? Just take what they give us, nothing crazy. Definitely like we're getting Eskridge involved. We're getting everyone involved, really. As Kirk Cousins runs, picks up 3, leaves 3rd and 1. 4 from Kenneth Walker. Give me one more first down. We'll jump in. 2nd and 6. A sack by Barrett. 3rd and 10. Nico Collins. I did look to see if we could bring in another higher rated receiver. There is Donovan Peoples-Jones, I believe. He's on the younger side. I want to say 25 years old at this point. We couldn't really make a trade for him, unfortunately. And unfortunately, even more Kenneth Walker, a little bit shaken up after that hit. He just heads over to the bench in frustration, so that's a promising sign at least. But that does bring out Haskins as we go to him the very next play, and it's just not a good read from him. We had a block on the inside if he stuck to the inside. Instead, he tried to bounce it. Kendricks, the vet, makes the play, and we head into the 4th. We're down 17-14. We're on the doorstep. A field goal could tie, but obviously we want the lead. But we need to make sure at least we're tying this game up. As it's 3rd and 7, we got a bunch down to the bottom. Nico looking like he's trying to grab Kirko's attention. It's just a drag route as it opens up Dwayne Eskridge. We're down to the 2. This has got to be Eskridge's breakout game. It's a weird name to add that possession onto, as we do not get the possession grab there, Sky Moore. That was more like what we saw last year. Just the catch in traffic, not great. 2nd and goal will be another throw as Kirko goes down to his former teammate in Kendricks. He timed up that blitz beautifully. 3rd and goal. We're back at the 6 here with 2 up top and Conklin. We go all the way up top and great release. That's a 2nd touchdown on the day for Sky Moore. And once again, we have a lead change. So which defense is going to make the big plays? Because right now it's all offense. As Stephon Diggs picks up 25 and then Kelsey with 20. They're inside the 30. Finally, we get a big play-ish. Loss of 3, they then pick that up. 3rd and 10. They only get 5. Field goal here. Do they go for it? They went for it. They're down to the 3. Looks like we're about to give up another touchdown, and it's a 2nd on the day for Rashad Bateman. So the defenses just haven't come to play really yet in this one. Despite it only being 24-21, it's not high scoring, but it's fairly consistent scoring as Walker is back out there. Good to see. Ronnie Bell picking up 9 on a first down. Then we lose 2. Not great. 2nd and 12, a loss of another 2. 3rd and 14, and Kirko runs for 1. So the Packers are the first defense to get a stop in a while, and it was not a good punt whatsoever. 3rd and 5, Josh Uche gives him a free first down. As we're closing into the 2-minute warning here, now inside the 2-minute, probably a good time to jump in. We are only down a field goal currently, but they're about in field goal range. As it's 2nd and 5, they go the stretch to the outside. Hubbard gets stuffed by Murphy Bunting. Brings up 3rd and 3 as we call our first timeout. A first down could just about seal it. It's a play action. Wilson finds but through the hand, but there is a flag down. And they call holding. We decline. And they're actually going to punt from here. They weren't close enough for the field goal. And that one looks like it's going to barely be a touchback. Our offense heads out at the 20. Can Kirko lead a game-winning drive to open up Season 2? We'll at least need the field goal, as it is still 24-21. Both defenses get a stop. Kirko going across the middle, and it's, I would say, more so through the hands there of Sky Moore. 21 definitely had an effect on the catch, but I don't think he made contact. I just think it was through the hands. He just didn't hold on to it. As we get this one out to Walker, setting up the screen. He trucks through one and then gets trucked himself. 3rd and 6, we call our second to last timeout. Got one more remaining. Need a first down here, and it's too far out front for Conklin. We need the first down here. 1:34 left. We have one timeout. We got a play action dialed up. Need to make sure we at least have the block screaming across. We have Collins, and he holds on to it up to the 43. A clutch play there from wide receiver 1, from quarterback 1. As we're under a minute and a half, barely. Will be another throw from Kirko. Across the middle, nearly intercepted. I get going with a one-on-one, but don't throw it when the DB has the leverage. At least stops the clock. Kirko once again across the middle. That goes Nico Collins, trying to sprint away by the defender, and in for a lead. A late hit from Kendricks, but Kirko gets the job done inside 2 minutes. We retake the lead again. And it's another one for Nico Collins on the day, but can the defense hold here? They got a minute 14, 3 timeouts. They need a touchdown. Field goal does not help them out as that one's knocked away, intended for Kelsey. Was at best going to be a gain of 8-9 yards and then immediately out of bounds. They're sticking with empty looks though. 2nd and 10, a quick throw. That's going to be a first down right down the seam. Just get the tackle. First timeout called from the Packers. Again, touchdown needed as that one went to Johnson. As they go down to the bottom again, it's by the defender, unless we can chase him down, and we're not going to. Johnson with another lead change, or Johnston with another lead change. And to seal the game, on the kick return, we fumble, and the Packers recover. I mean, what an NFC North battle there. Back and forth throughout the whole game. We just got extremely unlucky at the end. We got bumped off in coverage from our own teammate. Johnston scored the go-ahead score, and then with a chance to find at least a field goal, send it to OT, we fumble on the kick return. And the Packers win. We drop 0-1. And the rest of the first quarter looked oddly familiar to Season 1 as we just managed to win one game in the first 3, including a 38-15 blowout against the Texans. It was a close win, 26-20. Was it overtime? It was overtime against the Cardinals. So we're struggling, for sure. As we take a look at the individual stats, Kirk Cousins in the Cardinals game, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 64% completion. But what it seems like is the defense is struggling for sure as we give up 73% completion to Bryce Young, only 150 yards. Kenneth Walker, solid day on the ground. Though Alexander, pretty similar, just on a lot less carries. He did have a touchdown. Haskins had a touchdown in this one. Receiving-wise, Eskridge continues to have a pretty good season to start, and Rodney Bell was getting out there a good bit as well. We didn't really give up any massive gains to any of their receivers. Sky Moore had a touchdown, just only on 1 catch, though. And defensively, Zaire Barnes led us in tackles with 7. Tackles for a loss, we had 5 in this one. Seiler with 2. Thomas, and Hurst each had 1. Sacks, we had 2. Barnes with 1, then split between Seiler and Hurst. But that was our better game. What happened in the ones that we lost? More specifically, in the major loss against the Texans, we just consistently gave up scores. We did get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion in the 4th, so I guess there's that. Dak Prescott, 3 touchdowns, 80% completion. Kirk Cousins, 68%, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 159 yards. Rushing-wise, we had a bad day against Joe Mixon. 8 yards a rush. He had a touchdown. Kenneth Walker, near 5, had a touchdown. We also gave up another touchdown to Rachaad White. So we couldn't stop the running game. We seemingly couldn't stop the passing game. We did have a touchdown from the fullback, so there's that. Tyler Higbee, 100 yards and a touchdown. Nico Collins, pretty good for us. Hunter Renfrow, though, did score against us, as well as Cordell Riddick, a rookie receiver. Then defensively, Zaire Barnes led us in tackles again, this time with 11. Tackles for a loss, we did have 4. One for Barnes, Spillane, Seiler, and Robbie Thomas. He's had a pretty good start to his season. No sacks. And obviously, no interceptions. Did we miss any kicks? No, we just didn't even attempt a single field goal with Jake Moody. So already I'm feeling like it's the defense that's really letting us down, as we gave up 75% completion to a rookie in Ty Mobley. Kirk Cousins under 200 yards and a touchdown, 62%. Kenneth Walker, not a good game, under 3 yards a carry. Did have a touchdown though. Pacheco, a little over 3.5, did have a touchdown. Receiving, Sky Moore, leading receiver, was all right. We didn't really give up any huge games to anyone. Conklin had a touchdown, and we gave up a touchdown to another rookie in Gil Quincy. As for the defense, this time led in tackles by the corner in Thomas. Zaire Barnes was right behind him at 8. Tackles for a loss, just 3, but Robbie Thomas again. So he's playing pretty well to start off with, but not really racking up sacks. This is a game that we had 2 sacks split amongst 4 guys, Seiler, Barnes, Hurst, and Uche, and then still no interceptions forced, no field goals attempted. If we're going to salvage this season, we have to find something big now. And hopefully this is our Hail Mary move. We're sending a 2, 4, and a 6 over for Kwity Paye to hopefully provide some better edge rush to get to the quarterback quicker. There's not really any DBs for us to trade for outside of Peppers, who we cannot trade for. It would take multiple first-round picks. So the next best option is to try to get to the quarterback quicker. Hopefully Paye can do that for us. And with this season not necessarily on the line already, but at a big point, we're not going to jump in and watch the game, but we're going to jump in and quick sim the game together and see how well it goes. Now this is a primetime away game versus a 3-1 Giants. We've got to show that we could score, and through the first half we have not done this so much at all, as at halftime we do draw it close, at least 14-10. Still a close game, 1 score. We get the touchdown, but not the point after. We get a late score and come back for a major win, 23-21, upsetting the New York Giants. Now, is that going to be a positive turn for us this season? In this game, we still gave up a pretty good completion percentage, 70. It's lower than what it had been, but against Mac Jones, you would hope that would be a little bit better. Kenneth Walker, though, did have a good game, 4 yards a carry. We still kind of struggled against the run game. Tajay Spears, 3.6 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. Dwayne Eskridge continues to have a really good year. We struggled a little bit against CD Lamb. He had a first down per catch, also had a touchdown, as well as Spears through the air. But we really split the tackles amongst a fair few amount of different guys. 5 for 5 with Hill, Barnes, Metellus, Murphy, Bunting, and Kwity Paye, who did get a sack in this one, something we've been struggling to achieve. So that is a good sign. But still, the struggles persist, as we would drop the next 2 of 3 games, at least picking up a big divisional win against the Bears that kept us from dropping to bottom of the NFC North. But we had a game against the Rams where we just couldn't score when we didn't score much through this stretch. Another 8 points scored in the 4th quarter. Got to figure out why the offense isn't moving. Sam Howell, we finally had a good completion rate against a quarterback, 59%. Kirk Cousins, 75% complete, but we just weren't scoring points. And there wasn't any interceptions. We were sacked 4 times. I don't see any fumbles. Kamara had a pretty good game. Walker, average. But we just aren't getting the ball in the end zone. Kendrick Bourne did have a good game. Deontay Johnson also had a pretty good game. Eskridge, solid, but we could use a little bit more. We need someone on the offense to really step up. As for the defense, Spillane did lead us with 9 tackles, closely behind Avery Thomas, and we had 2 tackles for a loss with Spillane, but Seiler led us with 4, an additional 3, 1 for Barnes, Kwity Paye, who did have another sack, and Robbie Thomas, who also had a sack. So those 2 guys seem to be probably having the best season for anyone along our defensive line. In the following game against the Colts, we at least scored twice, but again, it was all in the 4th quarter. We're waiting too long to get these games going. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception for Kirk. We gave up 91% completion to Jared Goff. Cornerbacks, DBs, linebackers, they've all got to step up. Walker just 3.3, though we only gave up 2.8 to James Cook, so that's pretty good, but Jared Goff had a arguably better rushing day than his running back, and Javonte Williams, pretty good as well. And then in the receiving game, Rashee Rice, really good game. For us, our best was Nico Collins. He's not getting as many touchdowns this year as he was last year, despite us losing more games. Kenneth Walker at least got a touchdown through the air. Defensively, Spillane led us with 10 tackles, which he also led us in tackles for a loss with 3. 2 more for Robbie Thomas. Again, really good start. Kwity Paye had a tackle for a loss, another 2 for Hurst. So we're getting some tackles for a loss. Sacks, still not as frequent, but we are at least getting some now. And Ambry Thomas did have an interception. Then in the win, seems like the defense finally showed up against the Bears, again, bottom of our division. It was another game that relied on the fourth quarter, though. Not going to overlook that. We scored 18. Going into the fourth quarter, we were losing 6-7. It was just a really good fourth quarter for us. Things finally came together. No touchdowns, though, for Kirk. No interceptions. 56% completion, not great. Against a rookie quarterback in Mark Quinn, we picked him off twice, and he only completed 62% of his throws. Kenneth Walker finally had his big performance, 2 touchdowns. David Montgomery, pretty solid performance as well. Receiving, no one in particular really had a solid game or a great game. And defensively, Spillane. He seemingly seems to be our best tackler. He had 12. We had quite a few tackles for a loss. 3 from Seiler, 3 from Thomas, 2 for Ojabo. Not quite sure why he was out there. Hopefully we didn't have an injury to Kwity Paye, a guy we just traded for. Barnes had a tackle for a loss, same as Murphy Bunting and Uche. Sacks, 2 more, Robbie Thomas and Maurice Hurst. And then the interceptions went to Zaire Barnes and Robert Spillane. So the linebackers showed up in this one, and we had our best performance in the fourth quarter. If we could see more of what we saw in that game, potentially we could make a rise here. And we have 2 more divisional games. The best way to make the playoffs is to win your division. We have to climb, though. As we're against the Packers, we lost to them to open up this season. Barely. It was a great game. If we could pull one back on them here, that could definitely help propel us. So let's jump into a quarter set. Also, one thing of note, I did change the offensive playbook to the 49ers. Hopefully that sees us start to score a bit more as the first quarter ends at 7-0 and we do not get on the board even though we were driving. We hold them off though and we hit halftime. It is just 7-0. Get through the third quarter. We typically do better in the second half, though we're down 2 possessions and we again don't score. Offense has to score some points. We're not the Minnesota Vikings who could win a game 3-0. As it's a throwaway 2nd and 10. Defense, they get the stop, as we did have to watch the throwaway again there, I think, for some reason. Either way, offense, you got to end this drive with some points. Got to drive the length of the field. Sky Moore picks up the first down. Another chunk going to Sky. Back again, 3 plays in a row. Then a throwaway. 2nd and 10. 0-yard reception for Walker. 3rd and 10. We get 9. These are just ones we have to have. 4th and 1. We're at midfield. Need to pick up the first down. We're going to throw for it. Hopefully, at least. A little bit of some play action. Coming across, we got Nico downfield, laid out and held on to. A great throw there from Kirk, and even a better catch. Just need to see that a whole lot more consistently. But a great opportunity here. We need a touchdown on this drive. Can't be wasting time. Walker with space, headed towards the top, spins off 1, but then the backup comes in to get the stop at the 4. A good rush, though, from Walker. Really good blocking as well. 1st and goal at the 4. Need the touchdown, Kirko. Sitting in the pocket, pass rush working its way back. So, hey, well, I mean, it would have been a completion if the bench wasn't there. Or, I guess, bleachers. It's more than just a bench. 2nd and goal. 3 down to the bottom, 1 up top. As we hand it off, Walker can walk in. We finally find our score, and hopefully that sparks life, gives us back in this game. It's one we need the win. Again, the defense help us out. Well, loss of 3 first down. That works out well. 2nd and 13, then knocked away Sean Murphy Bunting. Need this one. And we hold Quentin Johnston, who ruined the first game for us. Nearly ruined it for us there. 4th and 3. They do punt it away. Offense, we need the touchdown. That would just give us a tie, but would at least give us an opportunity to win it later. In their house, they stole it from us in ours. We find Sky Moore wide open across the middle, and he drops it. Similarly to how the sky is dropping a whole bunch of rain in this game. 2nd and 10. Will be a throw from Kirko. Going down to the bottom, has his target Nico with the first down and apparently not out of bounds. Don't think I agree with that very much. Should have stopped the clock. At least get the play off here before the 2-minute warning. Give us a free timeout. Come on, Kirko, snap this ball. Let's find someone downfield as it is caught this time, Sky Moore. Need to see more of those catches, or better, as it's 1st and 10. We got 2 up top, 1 down to the bottom. Kirk across the middle, a little bit behind Eskridge, but he holds on to it. Just a gain of 5. While I would like more, I'm also perfectly fine getting a touchdown and taking away all time here from the Packers, considering how that first game went. Kirko misses his target. It was Conklin open across the middle. That'll leave us with a 3rd and 5. It's 2 down territory. We got 3 up top, Conklin low to the bottom, just off the line. A little bit of some play action. Kirk going deep, and it's dropped. Nico Collins. Can't quite blame him for that one. It was just a great play from the DB there. Nearly gave it up, but it's 4th and 5, a must convert down. And we need at least that route for Moore to get to the line to gain. As we're going to have Nico coming across the middle. He gets the catch, but he's bumped backwards, and the Packers get the stop. We have 3 timeouts. Gonna need our defense to get a quick stop. Might not have been the best throw to go with either, but we took the shot. As they do pick up the first down, that will be game. It's another one that we just don't quite do enough. And it's a sweep from the Packers at the top of the division, making the last half of this season a very tough road. And the team would respond the very next game with a big win against the Bears, 42-7. However, that's about as many points as we've scored the entire season, as we would then go on to lose the next 3 games straight through our late Week 14 bye, leaving us with 4 games left. And I think we just go ahead and get to this Vikings game, watch a little bit of that 4th quarter, and unfortunately end what has been a disappointing Season 2, where we made a lot of additions. We've doubled our win total from Season 1, so there's progress. It's just not a whole lot of progress. And in what could be Kirk Cousins' final year, we didn't get the play that we wanted. And this is a Vikings team that has done extremely well this year. They have surpassed the Packers, top of our division. We at least held them scoreless to just after the 1st quarter. Get a field goal, then give up a field goal, headed to half. It is a 13-3 game. Let's get through the 3rd quarter and then jump in for a little bit of some action to help round out this season as the Vikings very much take a solid lead. Now, where are we to start this 4th quarter? Well, the defense is out on the field, and they're going to continue to be out on the field. Well, let's just see if we could find any splash plays for any of these guys, as we'll probably watch about a drive or so for both sides to finish out this season. As they handed off McCaffrey down the middle, there is Robbie Thomas, who has had a fantastic rookie season. Hopefully, he'll find himself being Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's just coming off a 3-sack game after we did win back-to-back games going into this one. Didn't help us make anything happen late. The division very much in the hands here of the Minnesota Vikings. But surprisingly, the defense, despite all the changes that we made, we really didn't see much of an improvement. I think the secondary, as we can clearly see here, just the coverage in general, has been off, and that's something we're going to have to address in this next offseason. How we do that, we're going to have to see. There's maybe one other safety that's better than the 2 guys we have out there. There's no corners better than our best guy in Sean Murphy Bunting. There is, however, another corner slightly lower overall. I can't remember his name. He was a rookie this year in real life. He's all man coverage, very little zone. I don't like having just a one-trick pony out there, as I'm pretty sure we just had a face mask on CMC. So that'll just help them get further down the field when they really didn't need any help. Down at the 6. So, yeah, there's really not a lot of guys we could add to this defense to improve it outside of defensive line. And while we could definitely add guys, maybe get some more sacks, sacks don't always help with keeping passing yards from happening, as we see what we see quite a bit when we played against the Vikings. Lamar Jackson scrambles for a touchdown and widens their lead. Well, for one last time, let's see what this offense can do. They were extremely disappointing. I was expecting we would see a big boost to this offense, bringing in Walker, see some big explosive plays. I mean, like that, great play. But that was arguably a quarter of his total yardage on the day, as he's only had 45. Expected Kirk to come in, really help this team out, and we saw guys like Nico Collins have less touchdowns this year. We did see a big hit come in there on Conklin. But we did see Dwayne Eskridge have a much better season. We spread the ball out a little bit more, it feels like, but we just lacked scoring plays as we take the safe play, throwing that one away. Now, I don't know what the quarterback really holds for us in the future. Does Kirk retire after this year? I want to say he's going to be 36 or 37. Do we have to go back to Cooper Rush? Is there any other options for us? And I don't think there is, as we nearly pick up the first down there, checking down to Walker. He's gotten involved a little bit in the passing game. 4 catches in this one, 30 yards, which is just about as much as he's had rushing. As it's 3rd and 1, we set up the screen. Gonna be to Nico Collins, actually. Shaking off of one, not getting away from the rest. As we hit the 2-minute warning there. A nice little fold in using the San Francisco playbook. Essentially, that's a play made for Debo. But Collins, at times, shows promise of being that #1 receiver for us. It's just the offense in general has had a severe lack of play as Kirk can't hit a 10-yard stop route. And that's something we've seen happen fairly frequently, and when it's been accurate, Sky Moore's dropped them. So there's work to do on the offense. We might need to find ourselves another receiver as Nico can't bring that one in. Tight coverage from Kohu. But we just need spark from both sides. Defense, I feel like got better this year. It still had its bad games by far, but the offense, just about every game was a bad one, as we do find Sky Moore there making sure we pick up that first. I'd like to at least end this one on top with a touchdown, similar to how we did last year. As we have a bunch to the bottom of the line. Kirk Go, sitting in the pocket, going to overthrow Conklin and still gets hit. Honestly, surprised that's not a penalty in real life anymore. Well, it's probably actually been called a few times. On an uncatchable ball, too big of a hit. 2nd and 10, Kirk Go, lofting it up and finding Nico Collins. That is a good connection. We just needed to see more of that. That's Collins' 5th catch, 53 yards. About a first down a catch is pretty much what he's good for. Kirk Go once again across the middle, and this time it's behind the target. I want to say that one was intended for Ronnie, the 4th string receiver, whose last name I can't quite remember right now. As we go for the end zone, it gets picked off. Once again, he had his target, but it was thrown behind, and Douglas gets the last say in Season 2. While it was definitely not the season we were hoping for, we made big changes to this roster, and hopefully those changes will help us out in the future. Just did not end up helping us out much today, as we did not have a successful season. Under 500, but we added a lot more wins than Season 1. But you know, at least we end the season not last in the NFC North. It is an improvement. Essentially, us and the Chicago Bears switched. They are 2-15. We had a massive win against them. We finished 6-11, so we had 4 more wins than last year. It was just far spread out. We never really stacked up wins, besides in week 16 and 17. But a lot to be let down by, I would say, by this season. We finished with the 26th ranked offense. It was an improvement from last year. Defense also improved. They were 16th. As for the individual play, Kirk Cousins, a little bit under 3,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, not really that good. Not the Kirk Cousins that we know, 63% completion percentage. In the rushing game, Kenneth Walker did pretty well, 1,169 yards, 7 touchdowns. He did fumble once. As for the backups, they got some carries, but not a whole lot, and honestly didn't do too much with them. In the receiving game, again, we spread the ball out quite a bit. Nico Collins, 59 catches, 737 yards, did have 6 touchdowns. Again, it's just a step back from last year. Sky Moore, 67 catches, 720 yards, 4 touchdowns. I would love to know how many drops he had. Targets to even catches. I could do the math, but we don't have that stat. Dwayne Eskridge, a much better season. 53 catches, 670 yards, 5 touchdowns. He averaged a first down a catch. It just wasn't a whole lot of yards averaged per game. Conklin, solid, not many touchdowns. Kenneth Walker had an additional 2 touchdowns. Ronnie Bell was the name of the guy that I did not remember there at the end. He had 2 touchdowns, only 18 grabs, a touchdown for Connor Hayward, but yeah, we were missing that guy on offense. Even blocking, I would say, was better this year, and definitely was better. Onwenu improved his numbers, only 11 sacks given up, and no one else was in double digit. Raymond 6, Godecki 4, 2 for Allen, 2 for Fisher, not quite sure why he was out there much. Jack Conklin, fantastic. Ignore the experience 1 year and the college Texas. It glitched out on him. He's from Michigan State, and he's well past his 2nd year. And during whatever limited time Sheldon got out there, 64 snaps, he did give up a sack. Defensively, Spillane, 131 tackles. We knew he was going to have a lot. Tavir Thomas, 94. Don't really want your corner to be the next guy, so need to improve that for sure. As for tackles for a loss, Zach Seiler, heck of a season, 25 tackles for a loss. So he definitely helped this defensive line stopping the run, that's for sure. Robbie Thomas, 15 in his rookie year. 15 tackles for a loss, 58 total tackles, and 7 sacks. He's gotta be Defensive Rookie of the Year, which would move him up to a superstar. Past him, though, we did see Maurice Hurst have a pretty good time out there as well. 14 tackles for a loss, 12 for Spillane, 10 for Kwity Paye. He didn't end up having as many sacks the later half of the season, but he still performed better than any of our other edge rushers. Sack leaders, though, it does go to Robbie Thomas, so that is fantastic. In 2nd/3rd is Seiler and Kwity Paye, both with 3.5. Hurst had 2, 1.5 for Barnes, then 1 for Spillane, Uche, and Ojabo. So again, Kwity Paye did do a whole lot better than even combining the 2 of the other outside linebackers. So it was a good trade. Hudson got a sack in his limited time out there and split between Avery Thomas and Gerard Wilson. As for interceptions, Spillane and Avery Thomas both had 2. 1 for Barnes, Sean Murphy, Bunting, Hill, and Phillips. We only forced 1 fumble this year, and of that, we did not recover it. Field goal kicking wise, pretty good for Jake Moody, 14 of 15. He hit all of his extra points. Punting, we averaged about 45 yards, 13 down inside the 20, 15 touchbacks, so that could be better. And it does not look like we had any returns. As for the individual rankings for the team, offense was definitely well below average. Our best stat was passing yards a game. We were 23rd. Defensively, a lot better, 13th in points per game and 11th in passing yards per game. So it kind of switched. Season 1, it was the offense that was the better side, and we had to work on the defense. Defense seemed better this year. Offense just didn't seem to have an identity. They didn't really know what they were doing. There were games where we scored 8 points all in the 4th quarter, and games where we would score 24 points, but all but like a field goal was in the 4th quarter. So we're going to have to rework that offense for sure. But make sure you stick around, see what happens in Season 3. We're going to have the off-season as well as the full regular season, just as we did today of Season 3, out on Saturday. So do not miss out. Hit that bell icon on the bottom right, scroll down, hit the subscription button. They both do the same thing. You sub to the channel. We're getting close to 1,000. So if you're new, if you enjoyed, definitely make sure you're hitting that. And also make sure you're tapping that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every Wednesday and Saturday. We also have the traditional franchise with the Panthers every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So you guys got a bunch of content coming pretty much every single day, especially with the shorts. So we'll see you guys next time, hopefully for just a well-rounded offense and defense. Let's see some Michigan play here next time.